then we got a pile. I want to get Screech in here tonight, hopefully becoming right proper honorary Newfoundlanders. Those of you who are getting Screeched in, I'm going to need you here within the first 2 to 3 rows of the bar. I need to be in eye contact of you. If you're in the first 2 to 3 rows and not getting Screeched in, move to the
Why
back.
don't you guys get over here? Yeah, just move these chairs out of the way.
There's a lot of
Let me in there, Jim, so that I can. Yep, perfect.
If you want to keep talking, we have patio outside. I don't want to interrupt your night and stuff, but I need to hear everybody's name one time going around, and please try to keep it down just so I can hear the name free and clear. I like to know everybody's getting Screeched in. Please, like I said, if you're getting Screeched in, find a spot in the first 2 or 3 rows. Don't be ducking back where I can't see you. I have to be able to see you. I'm going to start over here. If you're not getting Screeched in, please don't tell me your name, but I need to know everybody's getting Screeched in. There's 45 of you, and I'd like to get them fairly quickly. And no? Yes?
Yes.
Your name?
Steve Ringerbox.
Steve from
Phoenixville.
Let's go with states. Okay. Provinces, okay? States or provinces. So give me an idea where you're from, because I don't know. When you tell me a small town that I don't know if you're from Europe or Canada or US. I'd like to have an idea where you're all from. And once again, please, just for a minute or so, just try to keep it down. And?
Marcos, Virginia.
Marcos or Marco?
Marcos.
Okay, there's a nice on that. Wellman? Yeah.
Bubba, Nova Scotia.
Bubba?
Yeah.
Emily, Ontario.
Emily?
Woo!
Christopher.
Christopher?
Mitch, Ontario.
Mitch?
George, Texas.
George?
Nicholas, Utah.
Nicholas?
Aaron, Virginia.
Aaron?
Shell, Lamb.
Shell?
Saskatoon,
Shell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony, Ontario.
Anthony?
Jeff, Delaware.
Jeff?
Austin, Ontario.
Austin?
Chris, Illinois.
Chris?
Mario, Puerto Rico.
Mario, Puerto Rico. Already sound Puerto Rican, Mario. Mario from the Witness Protection Program. And
Peter, Ontario.
Peter.
John, Ontario.
John.
Karen.
Karen.
Rich, Michigan.
What is it?
Rich.
Rich.
Kelly, Michigan.
Kelly.
Chitra, Ontario.
Chitra.
Yeah. Great job.
Yeah.
Brody, BC.
Brody.
Charlie, Newfoundland.
Charlie. Yeah, you can't be from Newfoundland.
California.
Charlie from the Witness Protection Program. All right, Charlie, I'm going to ask you where you're from.
Victoria, Ontario.
Victoria.
Amar, Ontario.
Amar.
Yeah.
Alex, Nova Scotia. Alex. No, good.
That's it.
That's it. Good. Because I don't have any more space.
The
The
whole bar.
idea of the ceremony is try to teach you all a little bit about Newfoundland. When all is said and done, you're going to be called honorary Newfoundlanders. I have paperwork done up for you all. Do not lose the paperwork once you receive it, as you can get into more places with it than most passports these days. As we're about to begin, I should first let you all know that I'm not the son of a fisherman or a lighthouse keeper. I don't eat fish 3 times a day, and I don't drink Screech. Ever. At least not before noon on weekdays. I'm not the boy that built a boat, I'm not the boy that sailed her, but I got a boat with a fine 4 cutty and it's got high top sails and I painted it green. And it's the prettiest boat
You've ever seen.
I had a premier once, his name was Brian Tobin, and he went to war with Spain over something called a turbot. I'm not quite sure what a turbot looks like, but I'll be damned if somebody from Spain is going to come take it away from me. I believe in kitchen parties, not raves. I believe in icebergs and blue stars, and that the puffin is a true, proud, and noble bird. Now a scuff is a dance, and a Newfoundland a blue star is a beer, and it's pronounced Newfoundland, not Newfoundland or Newfoundland. Newfoundland is the oldest settlement in North America, the youngest province in Confederation, and the only rock you can party on. My name is Skipper Lukey, and I is a Newfoundlander. Thank you. 95% of the original settlement here in Newfoundland came from 2 provinces of Ireland and 3 shires in England. We managed to adopt a lot of their culture, history, traits, and a lot of their linguistics, but we actually managed to come up with our own language here, and we call it Newfoundlandese. Now, the first 3 words I want to introduce you to is what I call prog, puttock, and glutch. Prog is a Newfoundland word for food. It's for your puttock, your stomach, and you're going to glutch it back. Means you're going to eat it. This evening, your prog is what I call Newfoundland steak. It's actually maple leaf bologna from Toronto, Ontario. The reason why we call it Newfoundland steak is years upon years ago, the kid that would have this on their sandwich or their supper plate would be considered a rich kid. The kid that would have lobster on their sandwich would be considered a poor kid, and that kid would be so poor that if he didn't wake up on Christmas morning with a hard on, he had nothing to play with. Not all of us grew up with a Terry. But anyway, I need you to take a small little bite. Now, just so you know that this is actually fit to eat, I've prepared this for many chefs over the years. The most recent one was out of Quebec, Canada, and his name was Chef Martin Picard. He's got a couple of the best restaurants in the entire country, and after he tasted it, he referred to me as Chef Lukey. Yeah, I used Screech. I burned off all the alcohol. I added some Cajun seasoning. I deglazed the pan with pork, and I finished it with saffron. Who does that to bologna? Chef Lukey. So I need you to take a small little bite. Do not worry about it if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, because there's no meat in this. Frog for your puttock, and you're going to clutch it back. I'm just going to let it rain some goodness on it. Yes, like a little pan, really. Yeah, good. Oh. Like, he put me on this show with Chef a la Cabane, and all these people from Quebec are coming in thinking I'm some sort of a restaurant. Anyway, none of them understand a word I'm saying while I'm doing the Screech, but hey, that's alright. Anyway, we're going to start over here with Marcos. You said Marcos? You said your first name was Steve. Good. There's a Matt. Good. Paul. Good.
Wow.
I know. And people started talking, and then they got lost. There's a lot of mustaches over here. First name? Else? Kate. Kate? Kate, yes. K-A-T-E. And? David. David. Good. Sage. Sage. Good. And? Cooter. Wicked. Okay. Excellent. And you again? Scott. Scott. Good. And? Tyler. Tyler. And Kiki. Good. CJ. CJ. Brian. What's your name? Tell me your name again.
Carmela.
Carmela. Over here we had Keeter. Kaita. Oh, it's close. Kaita. Good. And? Bridget. Zach. Smartass. Smartass. That's good. And hang on. Wellman. Good. Your first name again? Matt. Matt too. Okay, I'm halfway through. You in the back? Emily, good. I'll get you all by the end of it all. Mitch. Got Bubba already. Tell me again. Cass. Good. And? Christopher. And? George. Over here. Mustaches everywhere. They look great though, I must say. But they look. Aaron? Notice they can feature. Shell. Right. Good. It's an Air Force. You said your name was again? Aaron. Over here. And? Anthony. Good. You want her? And you?
Jeff.
Jeff. Chris. No, you're Peter. Oh. And I know I'm going to say Marco? Mario. Marco is over there. Peter. Marco. Sorry. Jeff. And your first name? This is for Mario. That's for Mario. And you were? Chris. I already got Chris. And you were again? And Austin. Good. Over here we had Karen. Who can forget Karen? If you don't like it, Karen, you can't complain. Karens are not allowed to complain. First name? John. Okay. Rich?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that was a long one. And
It's okay. And Kelly.
Chitri?
Wow, I'm very impressed.
Wow. Pull that one out of the hat. Amar?
Yes, sir.
Good. Sometimes the harder names are easiest, right? Charlie? Good. And? Brody.
Victoria.
Victoria. And finally? Alex. Alex. Okay. One quick question. Look at that. 4 pieces left. What was my name? It was Chef Logie. Caramelli who wins the prize. An extra piece of bologna. Wasn't bad. Now, in 1497, there was a man by the name of John Cabot. His real name was Giovanni Caboto. He was an Italian explorer. We know him as John Cabot because the English paid for his travels, and that's just how the English wanted his name to sound in 1497. John Cabot sailed the Atlantic on his boat, the Matthew, all the way from Bristol, England to Bonavista Bay, Newfoundland. And when he arrived here, he saw lots of activity in our water. Now, he didn't know what was going on, but he dropped his bucket down to fill it up with water, and when he came up to the top of the boat, it was filled to the rim with codfish. Word got out fast, how plentiful the fish were in our waters that they traveled from all over to settle here, and they catch the fish, salt the fish, and trade the fish all around the world as a means of survival. And one place in particular that we traded with was with Jamaica. Because in Jamaica they make rum, and we love rum. We loved it so much we would actually get that on that wharf, and we would kiss that fish goodbye, knowing it was coming back to us in the way of rum. So in keeping with that time and honor tradition, I have a little buddy for you to meet. Alright, this is a real Newfoundland codfish. Given the chance, this fish could have grown up to the height of 6 feet tall and weighed as much as 140 pounds. This fish will not grow any more than this because it's dead. Frozen and it fits perfectly in my freezer. Now the significance of this particular fish, why I love it so much, is my daughter caught it about a month ago out in Bonavista. When she saw what was happening that day to all the other fish getting gutted and filleted and losing their cheeks and tongues to the restaurants, she wanted this fish, her fish, to become the most loved fish ever to come out of the waters in Newfoundland. And I promised her I was going to make that happen, as I've been promising her ever since she was 11 years old when she caught her first fish. That's her at 13. That's my favorite. She's 18 now, and I'm not updating the picture. Maybe I'll pucker up and give this fish just a little kiss. Do not worry about anybody taking your picture or video doing so. Whatever happens here in St. John's today will certainly be on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. While you're kissing this fish, make sure you hold the pose long enough to see a flash or hear a click. Otherwise, you will hear those horrible words. Do it again. Now, you know, I can't actually force you all to communally kiss the same fish, so if you don't want to in the bar tonight, just cover your mouth, use a napkin, put a mask on. My fish took its mask off in February and will never put it back on again. It's received 2 boosters, 3 vaccines. The health department is watching me very closely these days, so please do not post too many pictures of you kissing the fish on social media. The next variant will be coming out soon. I'm sure it's either going to be called fish pox or codfish, one or the other. This whole thing started with somebody eating a bat, kissing a fish is not far from that.
The didactic memory too.
You got the list.
You chose the wrong sleeve.
It's
5 seconds. 3 seconds. 5 seconds.
Let me get out. I have to go
Oh,
around.
sorry. Okay.
I need a path.
Okay.
Just going around. So that's why
I need a path.
I did it.
Charlie.
Walk her up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was a red move. Come on. That's the closest I
Okay. Like I was saying, we used to trade our fish with the Jamaicans for their rum, and it was a very strong barrel of rum. In fact, it was considered the test of a man. If they could drink this without screaming, passing out, or having a heart attack, they were considered true men, or women, or transgender, or non-binary. Screech got his name down on the south coast of our province, where one night we were serving up our hospitality to a U.S. captain. They drank the shot. They yielded a great big yell. The sergeant came on running into the room and said, "Who yelled out the god-awful Screech?" And there was a Newfoundlander who was sitting at the bar that said, "Screech, boy, 'tis the rum, me son," and that's how Screech got his name. So I never got you to sign any waiver form, so for heaven's sakes, don't get any of this on your skin. And we can't have a drink without having a toast, so please wait till everybody gets their shot and we'll do it together. Pass. Sir George, please pass some of these back.
It's just gonna be an
Passing it on?
Pass them around.
Screechers.
spillage is alcohol abuse. Sure.
That's right.
Heresy.
Smells like rum.
We're starting to pass it on. I think we're good.
I really need one. Okay. One more. Does everybody have one now? Everybody good? So I would like to have a toast. As some of you may or may not have known, almost 5 years ago, I had the honor of meeting and screeching in here at Christians, the late and great Anthony Bourdain. He walked through my doors here in his final season of Parts Unknown, and for an entire week before he broadcast the episode on CNN, he put me in front of a viewing audience of 120 million people, and he changed my life. I never had the opportunity to thank him for what he did for me, but I did have an opportunity that night to sit down next to him for a couple hours and have a few pints of beer and get to know him. Just so you know, if you didn't know who he was, I wanted to let you know that he was exactly the same person in person as who he was on television. He was jovial, articulate, intelligent, and it's an incredible experience when you can meet your idol and have them meet up to huge expectations. I have no idea why he did what he did. I don't think anybody in the world can answer that question, but it does go to show that you never ever know what may be going on sometimes in other people's heads and the demons that they may be facing and fighting every day. So always remember to be kind. I'd like to dedicate my toast to him and say, here's to health in your company, and one for the lasses. Let's drink and be merry all out of our glasses. Let's drink and be merry, but that's to refrain. We may or may not ever all be here again. Up the lips, over the gums. Look out, gullet, here she comes. Watch your back. Anthony. Woo! Okay. Now. woods. Before I let you go, I have to teach you a small little phrase. Now, to give you folks an idea of our dialect here in Newfoundland, the shortest conversation that you're ever going to hear between two people goes like this. Ern, smern, nern. This is a full conversation. In order to understand it, you have to envision two fishing vessel captains crossing each other in the early morning dusk. One fishing vessel captain looks over at the other one and he says, Ern, smern. The translation is, did you catch any fish this morning? And the response was Nern. Any idea what that might have meant? Yes. Close. It means no, I didn't catch any fish this morning. Otherwise, he would have said no. We speak English too. I try to teach you something a little bit easier, something that you can actually use while you're here in Newfoundland, and that's A-by. In Newfoundland, this means I agree. You folks can use this in any situation where you're talking to a Newfoundlander and you don't understand what they're saying. Just agree with them. It's easier to agree with them than to ask them to repeat it. If you ask them to repeat it, they're going to say it the same way, and you're still not going to understand what they're saying. Let me give you an example of another conversation that you might hear in Newfoundland. Someday, what? That means the weather was nice today. I agree. Now, let's say you didn't understand what I was saying. The same conversation would have gone on like this. Someday, what? What? Someday, what? What? Someday, what? What? It goes on like that for a while. It is harder to say than what you think. It's not a boy, it's not I boy, it's not I by, it's a by. When everybody say a by at the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. A by! Now that we got that done, we're going to go along to a graduate level phrase. So when you go back home and you someone asks you, when Newfoundland gets screeched in, they're going to ask you, is you a screecher? So the proper response for that, and that is, it is me old cock and long may your big jib drop. So, is you a screecher? Correct response was A by. I just taught you that lesson once. And I wanted to give you an immediate application. It's the same learning process that they use when I was at a stone. Slow it down. I know I'm not talking too fast. You're thinking too slow, but we just had a big show around. So up along. Being the rest of Canada, you might say indeed I am, but in Newfoundland we say indeed I is. I need you all to say indeed I is at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Indeed I is. Nice. The next part of the phrase is me old cock. No. So funny, Karen. Grade 6 health class. Cock is a shortened form of the word cockney, which comes over from Old England, meaning my good friend or my good buddy. What you're saying is, yes, I am my good friend. You're going to say, did I is me old cock at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Did I is me old cock? Not my old cock, Karen. It's my old cock. The last part of the phrase is, along may your big jib draw. You see, the jib is for sale in the schooner, so as long as it's drawing wind, you're doing good. It's a wish for good luck. What you're saying is, yes, I'm going to friend and wish you good luck. You're going to say, it is me old cock and long may your big jib draw. Got it?
Yes, bye.
Just told you that 1 minute ago again. I say, you say, we're going to get through it in 3 simple segments, okay? Say, deed I is. Deed I is. Me old cock. Me old cock. Long may your big jib draw.
Long may your big jib draw.
Power vested in me, I now declare you all honorary Newfoundlanders. I have all your certificates here. Before I pass them out, I have one final rant that I'd like to share with you. These are a bunch of important facts about Newfoundland, and they're all true, so please try to remember them. Share them whenever possible for fear that someday they may be forgotten. Newfoundland was the first province to respond to the Titanic distress signal. It was 110 years ago, and at the time Newfoundland was its own country. Now, as we stand unified with Canada, we are the first province to respond. Newfoundland was the first place to discover proof of the theory of the continental drift. We were the first to host a transatlantic flight, and we were the first to have wireless communication in the entire world. We are the oldest rock in the world. This is the oldest city in North America. Water Street is the oldest street in North America. And the Royal St. John's Regatta, which happens on the first Wednesday of August every year, except this year and last year and the year before that. Considered the oldest non-continuous sporting event in North America. We are considered the most generous people in all the entire country. We are considered the funniest people in all the entire country. We are considered the sexiest people. Opportunity to say A by. And according to Maclean's magazine, we're also the most sexually active. Ha ha. A Newfoundlander invented the world's first artificial ice arena. A Newfoundlander invented the gas mask. A Newfoundlander was once a governor in northern Rhodesia, that is Zimbabwe, and there was a Newfoundlander with Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg. We are the only place in the entire world to have 4 identifiable flags We have our own encyclopedia, our own dictionary, our own pony, our own dogs, our own cultural publication, the good old Newfoundland Herald, and let's not forget 9/11. When Gander, Newfoundland welcomed into their hearts and into their homes 6,700 stranded world travelers. Alex, Amar, Victoria, Charlie, Brody, Chitra, Kelly, Rich, John, Karen, Peter, Jeff, Chris, Aaron, Mitch, Shell, Anthony, Bubba, Nick, George, Christopher, Emily, Bridget, Weldman, Matt, Cass, Carmela. Oh, fuck you, Kaita? Oh, fuck that. Okay, I'm gonna move over this way, okay? Steve, Marcos, Matt, Paul, Cade.
Yes.
Woo! David, Cooter, Sage, CJ,
Yep.
Caleb, Luke, Scott, Tyler, Zach. Welcome.